Is your mind still wandering aimlessly amidst the noise of the long day? While your weary eyes long to close, I understand you. We often unintentionally bring the weight of the world to bed with us, only to become lost in the chaos of our own thoughts. But right now, you are home. Do not view this video as a sermon, but as a warm sanctuary where I will walk with you slowly through realms of ancient memories. We will let gentle parables untie every knot within your heart, relying on the eternal promise. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Do not try to force sleep, nor fight against your thoughts. I only invite you to do one thing. Relax your shoulders, take a deep breath to welcome peace, and exhale all the burdens of yesterday. If you are ready for this healing journey, close your eyes. Let us begin. Greetings, traveler of dreams. If right now your eyes are still wide open in the darkness and your mind is still racing with shadows on the ceiling, then let me sit down here, right beside your anxiety. We will not try to drive away the darkness, because darkness is also a part of rest. We will only light a small lamp, the lamp of understanding. You know, the chaos in your mind right now, that cramped, suffocating feeling of thousands of thoughts colliding with one another, is nothing strange. It is like the desert that Moses and his people once passed through. There are days when our hearts feel like a barren wasteland, where the sands of worry obscure every path home, and we ask ourselves, where is the promised land? Where is the place where I can lay my head? But tonight, that promised land is not far away across the ocean or beyond the sand dunes. Jesus, the Master of Stillness, said that the kingdom is right here, within your very breath. He did not give us a complex map. He gave us an image, a story about soil and seed. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine your mind is a vast field beneath the night sky. He begins the story with an image so simple that we might miss its greatness. Listen, a sower went out to sow. Reflect on that sower. Tonight, the sower is sleep, is the peace that you are longing for. That person is incredibly generous. That person does not discriminate, does not calculate. That person scatters the seeds of relaxation into every corner of your soul. But why? Why are there nights when the seed sprouts into a deep, dreamless sleep, yet there are nights like tonight when the seed seems to vanish, leaving you alone with the ceiling? The answer lies in the soil. The answer lies in the very way our minds have been molded after a long day of battle. Look at the path in your mind. Jesus speaks of seeds falling along the path, where the ground is so hard that the seed cannot penetrate. And then the birds came and ate them up. Have you had to brace yourself too much today to survive in this noisy world? We often unintentionally turn our hearts into a dry, hardened path. We trample upon our own emotions to complete our work. We let the wheels of responsibility, of prejudice, of judgments from others roll back and forth over our souls, until the surface of the heart becomes callous, smooth, and rigid. When peace, that precious seed, touches you, it bounces off. It cannot soak in. You lie there, wanting to sleep, but your body remains tense like a strung bow. And then, the birds of distraction fly in. It is a phone notification, a criticism you heard this afternoon, a vague fear about tomorrow. They swoop down, stealing the moment of rest that had just begun to bud, leaving you empty. Do not blame yourself. That hardness is the shield you used to protect yourself during the day. But now it is night. It is time to lower the shield. Imagine that your breath right now is a rain shower. With every inhale, you are bringing water to the dry land. With every exhale, you are softening the callous clods of earth. Tell your mind it is okay. I do not need to be strong anymore. I can be soft. I can open my heart to receive the seeds. But the journey of the seed does not stop there. There are seeds that fall on rocky ground. Some fell on rocky places, where it did not have much soil. This is the image of superficial emotions, not yet deeply healed. Have you ever felt very sleepy? Your eyes closing, only to be startled awake 15 minutes later. Your heart pounding. That is when the seed of sleep sprouts hastily, but its roots hit the rock hidden underneath. What is that rock? It is the pain you have kept hidden, the things you have not forgiven, the sadness you have not dared to name. You cover them with a thin layer of soil made of busyness, trying to ignore them. But in the silence of the night, the roots of peace cannot pierce through the bedrock of resentment. Jesus does not tell us to dig up that rock immediately. He only tells us to acknowledge it. Tonight, if you touch that rock, gently place your hand on your left chest. Do not fight. Do not try to break it with the violence of will. Just whisper, I know this pain is here, and I allow it to rest with me. Acceptance is the sun that melts the rock. And then, most frightening, but also most real, are the thorns. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Khalil Gibran once spoke of anxiety as vines wrapping tightly around the soul, sucking the sap of today to feed the ghosts of tomorrow. What are your thorns tonight named this month's rent? Parents' health, the children's future, or the question, am I good enough? These thorns, they grow at the same time as your hope. They compete for air, compete for nutrients. They make your sleep fitful, full of dreams and suffocation. You feel strangled between responsibilities and desires. But listen, my pea, my weary friend. The sower knows well the field has thorns, but he still sows. What does that mean? It means that the grace and peace of God do not wait for you to become perfect before they arrive. He gives sleep to you, even when the thorns are still there. Your job is not to rush into the thorns to be scratched in the darkness. Your job is to focus on the seed. Look at the little life stirring amidst the thorns. Nurture it with your attention. Do not water the thorns with fear anymore. Water the seed with gratitude, even if it is just a tiny seed of gratitude. Thank you that I still have a soft bed. Thank you that this breath still goes in and out. When the wheat of gratitude grows, it will rise high, overcoming the shadow of the thorns to catch the light. And finally, there will be seeds that fall on good soil. Still other seed fell on good soil. Good soil is not soil without rocks or thorns. Good soil is soil that is willing to open. It is the posture of total surrender. It is when you say, God, I have done my best today. All results I send back to you. I return the world to the world. Now, I am just soil. I only receive rest. When you let go of control, that is when the miracle of growth begins. No noise, no fanfare, only the silence of roots striking deep into Mother Earth, drawing in the sap of the universe. Tonight, let your mind become that good soil. Feel your back touching the mattress. That is soil. Feel the pleasant heaviness of your eyelids. That is soil. You are safe. You are embraced. And when the seed of this prayer touches your subconscious, it will not be lost. It will sprout into strength, into love, into wisdom. When you wake up tomorrow, but that is a story for tomorrow. As for now, let the soil rest. Let the image of the sower fade into the mist, leaving you amidst the vast and quiet field. But wait, in that stillness, there is another movement, a movement even smaller, more humble, yet containing a power that can change your entire worldview. Do you hear the stirring of the soil? In the vast silence of the field of consciousness we have just walked through, perhaps you still feel so small, before the great darkness of the universe, before the giant worries of life. Your presence, your faith, and even the fragile peace you're trying to hold on to seem like just a grain of dust. We often fear smallness. We fear that if we do not do something huge, if we do not control everything, the world will collapse. But let me tell you about the beautiful paradox of the kingdom of heaven, a paradox that can lull you to sleep right now. It is the story of the mustard seed. Jesus took a seed smaller than the tip of a pinky finger, placed it in the palm of the listener, and said, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field." Look at your mind right now. Perhaps you do not feel a great peace. Perhaps you only feel a fleeting desire to rest, just a fleeting moment, a flickering thought that, "I want to let go." That is the mustard seed. Do not despise it. Do not demand a blinding enlightenment or a thunderous miracle to dispel insomnia. You only need that mustard seed. He continued, "Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds come and perch in its branches." Close your eyes and feel this comfort to become a large tree. What must the mustard seed do? Does it need to scream? Does it need to race? No. The only thing it does is submit to being buried. It accepts the darkness of the earth. It accepts the embrace of the moist Mother Earth. Your dark room tonight, the blanket covering you. Do not view it as a prison of loneliness. View it as the fertile soil embracing the seed of your soul. Darkness is not scary. Darkness is where life begins. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is nutrient. When you accept burying your senses into sleep, when you stop observing, stop listening to outside noises, that is precisely when the seedling of peace begins to crack its shell. You do not see that process. You do not need to see. You only need to trust in the law of life, that tomorrow, from this tiny sleep, a new source of energy will rise, strong as a tree trunk, capable of sheltering your dreams as they come to nest. But the mystery does not stop at what the eye can see. There is another power, quieter, more mysterious, working even when you think nothing is happening. It is the story of the yeast. Imagine a woman in a cozy kitchen of old. She did not use swords or spears. She did not use muscular strength. She used a little yeast. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough. What is yeast? Yeast is something invisible once mixed into flour. You cannot find the yeast anymore. It has dissolved. It has integrated. And most importantly, yeast works in the darkness and in silence. If you keep opening the lid of the dough bowl to check if the dough has risen yet, you will ruin the process. Sleep and soul healing work exactly like yeast. Do you often lie down and ask yourself, why haven't I slept yet? Why am I still sad? Is meditation working? That impatient checking of results is the act of constantly opening the dough bowl lid. The advice for you tonight is mix the prayer into your mind and leave it alone. Let go of control. Do not try to sleep. Do not try to stop being sad. Let the yeast of forgiveness, the yeast of love that we are talking about here, automatically spread through every brain cell, every tense muscle fiber of yours. It will work when you are unaware. It will soften the dry, hard dough of your life. It will raise new life from within. Your job is only to wait in trust, a waiting without impatience. Like the baker trusts the yeast, trust the self-healing mechanism of your body and soul. You do not need to fix yourself tonight. You just need to let grace permeate. Inhale. Imagine this airflow is the yeast of peace. Exhale. Feel it spreading down your shoulders, down your arms, down to each finger. It spreads down your chest, down your belly, soothing the spasms of anxiety. It spreads down your legs, weary from walking a long road. Your whole being is fermenting in a silent transformation. No one sees it, but tomorrow morning, when sunlight touches the window, you will find yourself different. The heavy dough of yesterday has become light, fluffy, and full of vitality. That is the power of small things. That is the greatness of hidden things. Therefore, O friend seeking sleep, do not despise this moment. Do not think lying here and breathing is useless. You are doing the most sacred thing. You are allowing life to be reborn. And when you begin to feel the lightness creeping into your mind, when the dough of the soul has begun to soften, you suddenly realize how precious this peace is. It is not just the absence of noise, but it is a full presence. It is so precious that if a person accidentally found it, he would be willing to trade everything he has just to keep this moment forever. We are approaching a treasure buried under the soil of daily worries, waiting for you to touch. Dear friend, as the yeast of stillness begins to permeate your mind, As the seed of rest begins to stir within the black soil of the night, you may ask yourself, why is this peace so elusive? Why must we trade so much just to get a good night's sleep? Sometimes we are afraid to go to sleep because sleeping means letting go of the wheel of the ship of life. We fear that if we do not stay awake to worry, to control, to calculate, then everything will slip away. We hold tight to our assets, anxiety, fame, unfinished plans, and even resentments. We view them as precious pearls that must be guarded throughout the night. But listen to the whisper of the one who understands the human heart. He tells us about the true value of what we are seeking tonight. It is the story of the hidden treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. Imagine this moment, this very second, is that field, and peace, that feeling of weightlessness when your shoulders drop, that soft sensation when your heart rate slows down, is the treasure. Perhaps you stumbled upon it after a long, tiring day. A moment you saw the moonlight outside the window. A moment you heard this music. You touched stillness. Do you know how precious it is? The world out there teaches you that treasure is the number in your bank account, the position you hold, the praise of others. But can those things lull you to sleep? Or are they jailers holding whips, waking you up in the middle of the night? Only inner peace is the true treasure. It is the only cool stream that can quench your burning soul. And what did the man in the story do? He sold all he had to obtain a full sleep tonight. Do you dare to sell? The price is not money. The price is letting go. To possess the field of sweet dreams, you must sell the worry about tomorrow. You must sell the anger toward your colleague from this morning. You must sell the regret over past mistakes. Imagine you are gathering all those heavy assets. They are old, dusty, cramped items filling your mind. Take them to the market of nothingness. Exchange them for the field of tonight. And pay attention to this detail, a priceless detail that Jesus emphasized. He did it in his joy. Letting go is not a painful sacrifice. Letting go is a joyful liberation. When you cast off the burden of thought to exchange it for the lightness of sleep, that is the greatest bargain of your life. Do not regret the worries. Be glad to be rid of them. But perhaps you are not the one who stumbled upon the treasure. Perhaps you are one who is diligently searching. You have sought sleep through pills, through books, through expensive therapies. Yet your heart remains restless. He has a story specifically for you. The story of the pearl of great price. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. You are that merchant. All your life, you have gone collecting pearls of knowledge, of experience, of affection. You hold so many things in your hands, but your hands are too full. How can two clenched hands receive rest? The most precious pearl, the pearl of absolute stillness, is right in front of you. It is round. It is perfect. It radiates a gentle light that soothes weary eyes. But to pick it up, you must open your hand. You must drop the other pearls. You cannot hold tight to the fear of loss while wanting to hold onto peace. You cannot hold tight to the script for tomorrow's meeting while wanting to hold onto a beautiful dream. Practice with me right now. Clench your hands tight. Clench them really tight. Feel the tension in your muscles, in your wrists. This is how you are living. This is how you are guarding your worries. Hold it. Do you feel tired yet? Now, slowly, very slowly, let's relax your fingers. Let your hand open completely on the mattress. Relax. Soften. Empty the sensation of blood flowing back to your fingertips. That is the touch of the pearl of great price. When you hold nothing, you possess everything. When you become empty, you are filled by the kingdom of heaven. Khalil Gibran, with the voice of one who sees through the soul, once reminded us, all that you have shall someday be given. Therefore give now, that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. Tonight, give your thoughts away into the void. Do not let them haunt you until morning. Be the wise merchant. Know that deep sleep, the restoration of the soul, is more important than any plan of the world. Look, you have sold it all. You have let it all go. The room of the mind is now cleared of the cluttered furniture. There is only you and the pearl shining gently in the night. That pearl is your breath. Inhale, sparkling with life. Exhale, glowing with peace. But I know, even when you hold the precious pearl in your hand, even when you possess that field of peace, when you look down at your feet, you still see something that makes you frown. Amidst the golden wheat of tranquility that we have just sown, the silhouettes of weeds still flicker. Dark thoughts, self-judgments still creep up. You panic. Is my field not clean? Did I make a mistake in buying it? Do not worry. The existence of darkness beside light is part of the divine order. Jesus does not abandon you with those weeds. He has a compassionate answer for this imperfection. Dear friend, we have sown seeds together, cultivated a tiny faith together, and found the treasure of stillness together. But I know, even as you lie here, in the arms of this safety, a silent battle is still taking place. Admit it. Are you feeling uncomfortable because of uninvited thoughts? A worry about tomorrow's work intrudes upon the soothing music. A sad memory suddenly rises amidst the prayers. You blame yourself. Why is my mind not yet calm? Why am I still thinking wildly? I must get rid of them immediately. That struggle is the very reason sleep flees. The more you try to clean your mind, the messier it becomes. Do not worry. Jesus understands this complexity of humans. He does not demand of you a spotless mind. He tells us the story of the wheat and the weeds. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. Look at the field of your soul, the seeds of peace. The wheat that we have sown since the beginning, they are growing, but intermingled with them are anxieties, distracting thoughts. The weeds went on. Where did they come from? They come while everyone was sleeping. meaning they come from the unconscious, from secret fears you cannot control. Our first reaction is always panic. Like the servants in the story, we want to rush out immediately to pull up the weeds. We want to eradicate anxiety. We want to force the brain into total silence. Do you want us to go and pull them up? This is the question you are asking yourself tonight. How do I get this thought out of my head right now? But listen to the answer of the master of the harvest, the one who holds the wisdom of the universe. His answer contains the ultimate secret of a good night's sleep. No, he answered, because while you are pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. Let both grow together. This advice sounds strange, doesn't it? But it is the truth of healing. If you try to pull up anxiety tonight, you will inadvertently pull up relaxation as well. Because the act of pulling requires tension, attention, and effort. But sleep does not need effort. Sleep needs surrender. God is telling you, call a truce. Sign a peace treaty with your mind right now. Tell the negative thoughts, I see you. You are weeds. But tonight, I am too tired to fight you. I allow you to be there. I will not nurture you, but I will not drive you away either. Just float along with the wheat. Imagine your mind is a vast river. Good thoughts are boats laden with flowers. Fears are rotting logs drifting by. Do not try to fish the logs out. Do not try to block the flow. Stand on the bank and watch everything pass. Weeds and wheat, sadness and joy, anxiety and hope, all are drifting in the endless current of tonight. And there is one more important thing. He said, until the harvest, there will be a time for judgment. There will be a time to determine right from wrong, to solve problems, but not now, not at midnight. The harvest is tomorrow. The harvest is when the sun rises, when you are alert and full of strength. But now is the season of rest. Hand the judgment back to God. Bundle up all your chaos, both the good and the bad, and place them in His hands. He is big enough to hold it all. He is patient enough to wait until the harvest. Why must you rush a sage once said, do not try to smooth the lake with your hand. You will only disturb it further. Let it be. The mud will settle and the water will clear. Tonight, do not try to clean out the weeds. Lie still. Let the darkness do its work. Let tolerance be the blanket covering both the wheat and the weeds in the garden of your soul. Inhale. I accept my imperfections. Exhale. I let go of the need to solve everything immediately. The feeling of relief does not come from being completely free of anxiety. The feeling of relief comes from no longer fearing anxiety. You let it lie there, harmless, like a distant background noise. And when you stop fighting, when you accept that chaos with compassion, a miracle will happen. The noise of the weeds fades away, and the heavy heads of the wheat of sleep begin to release a fragrant scent, lulling you into a gentle realm of unconsciousness. You have learned how to till the soil. You have germinated the mustard seed. You have found the treasure, and now you have learned how to live in peace with yourself. The gate of Act 1 is closing. The garden of the mind is now settled. But the journey of the heart has only just begun. Ahead, there is someone waiting for you by the roadside, someone who will teach you the greatest lesson about love, the strongest painkiller for every wound of the heart. Let us step together into a new land, where tears are wiped dry and broken hearts are mended. Dear friend, we have walked a long path through the field of consciousness. We have learned to soften the soil, sown the mustard seed of faith, let go to buy the treasure, and learned to accept the weeds. Now, the door of the first act is about to close. There is only one final secret of the kingdom of heaven you need to know to truly fall into a deep sleep, a secret that liberates you from the burden of responsibility. Do you often think, if I sleep, who will take care of tomorrow? If I don't stay awake to calculate, everything will stall. That is the fear of the farmer thinking the rice grows because he pulls it up with his hands every night. But listen to Jesus tell of the true operating law of the universe, a law as soft as velvet. This is what the kingdom of God is like. A man scatters seed on the ground, night and day. Whether he sleeps or gets up, the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. Pay attention to the phrase, whether he sleeps. This is the most sacred permission you receive tonight. God not only allows you to sleep, He says that development, reproduction, and miracles still happen even when and especially when you sleep. Imagine the problems you are facing, unfinished projects, fracturing relationships, unfinished dreams. You have scattered seed on the ground. You have made efforts, thought, and prayed. Now, your task is to sleep. If you stay awake and worry, you are interfering with the process of the soil. You know, a great poet once said, Mother Earth has her own rhythm, and she only sings lullabies to seeds that know how to lie still. Look, in the story, the farmer does not know how. You do not need to know how your problem is solved. You do not need to know how tomorrow will be better. The how does not belong to you. It belongs to the soil. It belongs to an invisible power operating silently beneath the cover of the night. He continues, all by itself the soil produces grain, first the stalk, then the head, then the full kernel in the head. All by itself. In ancient Greek, this word is automate. There is an automatic mechanism in this life. Your body automatically breathes when you sleep. Your heart automatically beats when you forget about it. The wound on your hand automatically heals without you ordering the cells. Why then do you not believe that your life will also be healed automatically? Like that tonight, practice the ritual of surrendering control. Imagine you are standing at the threshold of sleep. In your hand is the seed of worries. Bow down and drop it into the soil of darkness and say, Lord, I have finished my part of sowing. Now, I withdraw. I trust in the automatic nature of your grace. I believe that when I close my eyes, you are still working. Your rest is an act of faith, of the better you sleep, the more it proves you trust in the care of the Creator. Conversely, tossing and turning is a sign that you are trying to do God's job. Feel the relief of not having to know it all. You do not need to hold the whole world on your shoulders anymore. Gravity will hold you. The ground will hold you. And while you sink into dreams, the good seeds will crack open. Solutions will sprout from the unconscious. Answers will rise like young shoots. Let the dark night be your gardener. Let the silence nourish what the noise of the day could not. Inhale, I trust. Exhale, I entrust. Inhale, the soil is working. Exhale, I am resting. And now, as Act 1 closes, when your mind has accepted letting go of control, when you have understood that the kingdom of heaven is a silent but great operation, we are ready. We are ready not only to rest in reason, but also to be warmed in heart. There is a path leading from this vast rice field to a warm house. There, suppressed emotions will be soothed. There is not only the silence of the earth, but the voice of love. Come with me. Step through that gate. Greetings, friend seeking peace in the deep of the night. We have walked together through the fields of the mind, where reason has learned to lie still like a seed in the earth. But I know, sleep is not truly complete if the heart is still sobbing. There are nights when, even though the mind has stopped thinking, the chest still feels heavy. There are shapeless pains that throb quietly, even when the eyes are tightly closed. That is when we need to leave the field to step onto a road, a rough, dusty road connecting sacred Jerusalem and low-lying Jericho. And on that road, a story awaits you, not to teach you a moral lesson, but to bandage your own soul. Imagine, tonight, you are the traveler in Jesus' story. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Half dead, asti. That phrase sounds terrifying, but let us be honest. Is that not how you feel after a long day of fighting with life? Not bleeding wounds on the flesh, but scratches on the soul. You are stripped of energy by invisible pressures. You are beaten by criticisms, by failure, or by your own harsh perfectionism. And now, as night falls, you lie there by the roadside of your bed, feeling exhausted, lonely, and naked before the darkness. In that loneliness, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for Reason the priest to come and save you? Reason passes by. It sees you suffering from insomnia, but it says, "Why are you so weak? You must be strong. You must solve the problem." And then, he passed by on the other side. Reason cannot embrace pain. It only knows how to analyze and judge. Then responsibility the Levite passes by. It sees your fatigue, but it says, there is no time to rest. There are so many unfinished tasks. There are unpaid bills. Oh, and it also walks away, leaving you colder than before. Sometimes, the greatest tragedy of the insomniac is not the inability to sleep, but the feeling of being abandoned by the very strongest parts of oneself. You blame yourself for not being able to sleep, and that self-blame is another knife cut into the wound. But listen, the footsteps of healing are approaching, not from the people you expect, but from a stranger, but a Samaritan. As he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. The Samaritan, in the ancient Jewish world, he was a despised outcast, but in the world of your soul tonight, the Samaritan is the compassion you often neglect. It is the softest, yet most sacred part of you. He does not ask why you took this dangerous road. He does not blame you for not knowing how to protect yourself. He does only one thing. Stop. The greatest act of love is not doing grand things, but presence. Tonight, allow compassion to stop beside your pain. Do not drive away the feeling of sadness. Do not try to brace yourself anymore. Let gentleness touch you. And look at what he does. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. This is the ritual of healing for your sleep. Wine to cleanse, it may sting. That is the acknowledgement of truth. Acknowledge that you are hurting. You are afraid. Do not hide from the inner darkness anymore. The wine of truth will disinfect the wounds that are festering from suppression, and oil to soothe. Imagine a stream of fragrant, warm oil slowly flowing over your forehead, down your weary eyes, down your tense shoulders, and down your trembling heart. Oil softens the calluses. Oil soothes the spasms of anxiety. Whisper to yourself, I forgive the imperfections of today. I soothe my own overexertion. You do not need to stand up by yourself. You do not need to walk home by yourself. You are too tired. Let the Samaritan lift you up. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. Tonight, your bed is not a place for tossing and turning. It is God's inn. It is a sanctuary of absolute safety. Feel the mattress beneath your back. That is the support of the faithful donkey. It bears your entire weight. You no longer need to hold your body. Relax completely. Entrust your hands. Entrust your feet. Entrust even your breath to this support. At this inn, you are not the server. You are the honored guest. You have the right to be weak. You have the right to rest. And if the voice of worry about tomorrow still echoes in your head, who will pay for this rest? Who will make up for the lost time? Then hear the promise of the Samaritan before he leaves. Look after him, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. I will repay. This is the universe's guaranteed check for you. Every bit of energy you consume, every moment you rest, will be repaid manifold by the Creator when the dawn breaks. The future has been paid for. Tomorrow has been taken care of. Your task now is simply to sleep peacefully in the inn of love. Inhale the scent of the healing oil. Exhale all the pain of old wounds. The feeling of safety is spreading throughout your body. You are no longer lonely by the roadside. You have been found, you have been bandaged, and you are being sheltered. But, my friend, this healing is only the first step. The Samaritan has brought you out of danger, but for the heart to be truly free, we must face another pain. A pain deeper than physical wounds. That is the pain of separation, of children who have lost their way home, and the longing for forgiveness from the bottom of the heart. Let the music lead you deeper into the realm of memory, where a father is waiting day and night at the gate. Dear friend, lie still in the inn of comfort that we have just found. But I know, even when your body has rested, your mind sometimes still wanders to very distant lands. Have you ever, amidst the conveniences of modern life, amidst the successes that the world praises, suddenly felt an invisible hole in your left chest, a hunger that cannot be filled by food, a thirst that cannot be quenched by drink? That is the sentiment of a child who has traveled too far from the home of his soul. Tonight, we will examine that sentiment through the most classic story of being lost and returning, the story of the Prodigal Son. Jesus begins the story with an image of separation. A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me." Look at the image of the younger son. Do you see your own shadow somewhere? We modern humans, have also stood before the Creator, before the universe, and demanded our portion of goods. What are those goods? They are time, health, youth, and free will. We say, "Give me this life. I want to be my own master. I want to go out there to find happiness in my own way." And we went. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country. The far country. That is not necessarily a geography. It is a psychological state. It is where you get caught up in the grind of working 14 hours a day. It is where you are engrossed in seeking recognition on social media. It is where you trade sleep for fame, trade peace for fleeting pleasures. We have brought all our energy goods to invest in that strange land. We thought there was freedom there. We thought the further we went, the stronger we would become. But then, what happened? And there he wasted his substance with riotous living. Wasted his substance sounds remarkably like the feeling of burnout you have right now, doesn't it? You have spent all your energy on petty worries. You have spent all your joy on invisible pressures. And tonight, when you lie down, you take inventory of your soul's treasury and realize it is empty. You are emotionally bankrupt. And just when you were weakest, tragedy struck. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. A mighty famine. In the language of sleep, this famine is insomnia. It is when the outside world, the strange land, no longer provides you with joy. The phone screen goes black. The applause falls silent. Darkness covers everything, and you face extreme want. You lack peace. You lack an anchor. You feel barren in the midst of a dry field, even though you are surrounded by warm blankets and soft mattresses. The wealth of the material world cannot save the poverty of sleep. In that despair, what do humans usually do? We try to seek comfort from trivial things. He went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. Visualize this scene: a son of a noble family, now having to herd pigs. In Jewish culture, pigs were unclean animals, and in your mind tonight, what are pigs? They are the toxic habits you turn to in order to escape sadness. It is mindlessly scrolling through social media until 2 a.m. It is the negative thoughts you keep chewing over and over. It is self-torment. You try to fill the void in your heart with those things. He would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. Husks. Empty things. You feed your head with junk information, hoping it will make you forget your worries. But it is like husks. The more you eat, the hungrier you get. The more you watch, the emptier you feel. And no man gave unto him. This world, the far country you poured your heart into serving, turns its back on you when you need it most. It cannot give you a good night's sleep. Khalil Gibran once wrote about pain as a hard shell enclosing understanding. And tonight, you are inside that shell. You are in the pig pen of the mind. Do not cry yet. Do not hate yourself yet. Because right in this darkest, filthiest, most desperate place, a miracle of awareness will shine. They often say, only when we hit rock bottom do we know what the solid foundation is. This famine is necessary. This exhaustion is an invitation. If you were not hungry, you would not remember home-cooked meals. If you were not exhausted, you would not crave the Father's arms. Allow yourself to fully feel this failure. Do not deny it. Tell yourself, yes, I am hungry. Yes, I am lost. I can no longer find happiness in external things. That acknowledgement is not the end. It is the beginning of a great journey, the journey home. Right now, in the darkness of the room, a shift is taking place in your depths. A memory is coming alive. A memory of a place you never truly lost, only that you forgot the way back. Dear friend, stay with the quiet moment in the pig pen of the mind a little longer, because it is in that eerie silence, when all the noise of the world has ceased, that another voice has the chance to speak up. Your own voice. The Bible records that miraculous moment with a concise but earth-shaking sentence. But when he came to himself, the awakening is not seeing a God fly down from the high heavens. The awakening is seeing your own core value again. Tonight, lying on this bed, did you come to yourself? You suddenly realize, why am I here? Why do I let anxiety torture me like this? I was not born to be a slave to pressure. I am a child of peace. And from that realization, a decision was made. I will arise and go to my Father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. But wait, pay attention to the Son's thoughts at that moment. He is preparing a speech. He is bargaining. Make me as one of thy hired servants. Are you also bargaining with sleep like that? If I am allowed to sleep tonight, tomorrow I will work harder. I do not deserve complete peace. Just let me nap a little. Like a hired servant. We often believe we have gone too far, made too many mistakes, so we no longer deserve to be fully loved. We think we must pay the price, must atone to be allowed to rest. We drag our steps back home with the mindset of a sinner, head bowed low, dragging the heavy feet of regret. But The picture Jesus paints next will shatter all your prejudices about judgment. When the son was still far away, still muttering his apology speech, still afraid, the father saw him. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. Stop here. Let this image soak into every stressed cell of your brain. He ran. In ancient Eastern culture, a superior never runs. Running is an undignified act. But this father defied everything. He hiked up his robes and ran. Why? Because he did not want his child to take another painful step. He wanted to shorten the distance of the complex. Tonight, peace does not sit on a high throne waiting for you to climb up. Peace is running towards you. The moment you intend to let go of anxiety, I will arise. Grace has already rushed to embrace you, and he kissed him. That kiss stopped the apology speech. The son started stammering, "Father, I have sinned." But the father seemed not to hear. He did not need to hear the explanation. He did not need to hear the promise of hired service. He did not care about the son's mud-stained past. He only cared, "You are home. That is enough." Do you hear that? The universe does not need you to explain today's failures. You do not need to punish yourself with insomnia anymore. The Father's embrace has wiped away the stench of the pig pen. You are forgiven, not because you fixed your mistakes, but because you are the child. It is that simple. Imagine the warmth of the blanket covering you right now is the arms of that Father. It envelops your trembling. It says, "Safe. You are safe." And the restoration does not stop at the embrace. The Father ordered, "Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet." These three gifts are three potent sleeping pills for your soul tonight. The best robe, the robe of honor. It covers the scars, the stains of the old days. When you put on tolerance, no one sees your faults anymore. You are a new person again, pristine and clean. The ring, the symbol of authority and belonging. You are not a hired servant. You are not a slave to work. You are the master of your life. You belong to this place, the place of eternal love. The sandal slaves often went barefoot. Only children wore shoes. The shoes protect you from stones. Tonight, wear the shoes of freedom into your dream. You are no longer bound by the chains of the past. Visualize. Father is putting the robe on you. Feel the warmth spreading over your shoulders. Father is putting the ring on you. Feel the pleasant weight on your finger. Father is putting shoes on you. Your weary feet are now being cherished. No scolding, no scrutiny. Only the sound of joyful music ringing in the big house. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. You have been found. You are no longer lost in the stream of life. Your inner house is lighting candles brightly to welcome the return of peace. Allow yourself to join that feast of stillness. Eat the food of good sleep. Drink the wine of forgetting troubles. Because you are worthy. I repeat, you are worthy, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. And when you are lying fully in those loving arms, when the tears of happiness have dried on your lashes, we suddenly realize that the joy of returning is not yours alone. The whole sky, the whole universe seems to be rejoicing because a soul has found its resting place again. There is a secret about the joy of heaven that I want to tell you next. A strange joy, not for the perfect people, but reserved specifically for things that were once lost. Dear friend, in the arms of the Father, you have found warmth, but this universe is vast, and the human mind is infinitely deep. There are times, even knowing we are loved, we still feel lost. We feel like a puzzle piece dropped somewhere under the table of life, forgotten in the dust of petty worries. You ask yourself, amidst 8 billion people, does my sleep matter? Does anyone understand this tiny sadness of mine? To lull that wonder to rest, listen to 2 small stories. Stories about tireless searching, about how the Creator cherishes the unique one that is you. First, imagine you are a lost sheep. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? Reflect on the number 99 and the number 1. According to the usual logic of the world, we care about the majority. We accept a small loss to preserve the greater good. But the logic of love is different. The 99 sheep are what is stable in your life. A steady job, a sturdy house, good relationships. But the one lost sheep is your anxious soul tonight. It has strayed into the thickets of insomnia. It is trembling with fear of the darkness. And what did the Good Shepherd, the keeper of dreams, do? He leaves the 99. He temporarily sets aside that smoothly operating universe just to focus his attention entirely on you. At this moment, you are the center of divine concern, not because you are obedient, but because you are lost. And what is lost is loved doubly so. And the most wonderful thing is not the finding, but how he brings you home. He does not use a whip on the sheep's rear to force it back. He does not scold, "Why were you so stupid to wander off like this?" Listen closely to this sentence, and when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. Puts it on his shoulders. This is the posture of sleep when you lie down on the mattress, when you relax your spine, when you rest your head on the pillow. Imagine that is the sturdy shoulder of the shepherd. You do not need to walk by yourself anymore. Your legs are tired after a day of running around. Now is the time to be carried, to be borne away. Surrender into sleep is the act of allowing yourself to lie on God's shoulder. At that height, you are safe from wild beasts. At that height, you hear the peaceful heartbeat of the shepherd. Close your eyes and feel the gentle swaying, like the rhythm of footsteps bringing you to a warm fold. But perhaps you do not feel like a sheep out in the open country. You feel like you are right inside the house, yet stuck in some dark corner. You feel your value is covered in dust. Then, the story of the lost coin is for you. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? Look at the image of that woman. She symbolizes divine wisdom. And you are that coin, a coin made of real silver. It bears the image of the King, even if it rolls under the bed, Even if it is covered in dirt, its value does not change. It is still silver. It still bears the image of the King. Tonight, you may feel useless. You may feel stained by negative thoughts, but your essence, that divine spark, that image of God within you, remains intact, sparkling beneath the layer of worldly dust. And look at what the woman does to find you. She lights a lamp. This is the lamp of mindfulness. The gentle light is shining into your mind right now, not to burn, but to recognize. She sweeps the house, the rustling sound of the broom, gentle, steady. That is your breath. Inhale, exhale. Every breath is a soft stroke of the broom, sweeping away layers of anxious dust, sweeping away the debris of the past. Do not fear the sound of the broom. It is clearing space for you. It is digging out and searching for the peace hiding somewhere in the corners of the brain. And most importantly, she searches carefully. She does not search carelessly. She will not go to sleep until she finds peace for you. You are not alone in this effort to find sleep. The whole universe is sweeping the house with you. And when found, oh, when the light touches the silver coin, when stillness touches the soul, rejoice with me. I have found my lost coin. Rejoice with me. Do you know that every time you cast aside an anxious thought to choose peace, all of heaven throws a party? In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Repentance here, in its most primitive sense, is a change of mind, metanoia. It is turning around, turning from darkness to light, turning from anxiety to trust, just relaxing your furrowed brows. That is a beautiful repentance. Just sighing a light sigh of relief. That is the signal for the angels to play their harps. You are that precious. Your sleep is that important. Therefore, O tiny coin, O gentle sheep, rest assured, you have been found, you have been wiped clean, you are lying on the shoulder of the loving one. There is nothing left to fear. There is nothing left to prove. Now, as the joy of reunion has filled the heart, let us go together to the final point of Act 2, a necessary destination to lock all the doors of the past, so you can sleep without carrying any debts of yesterday. Dear friend, in the sacred silence after being embraced by the Father, after being found like a precious coin, perhaps you have felt a relief spreading throughout your body. But listen to your heartbeat a little more closely. Is there somewhere, in a hidden corner of your chest, still a suppressing weight? That is the weight of the faces that have hurt you. That is the weight of the harsh words you heard today. That is the weight of the injustice you feel you have to bear. We often carry an invisible ledger into our sleep. In that book, we meticulously record, this person owes me an apology. That person owes me respect. Life owes me an opportunity. You hold on to that debt book tightly, and it is the very thorny obstacle preventing you from sinking into sweet dreams. To help you burn that book tonight, Jesus tells a story about a great debt and forgiveness. He tells of a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold was brought to him. 10,000 talents. In that era, This was an unimaginable number, a number that a laborer working a lifetime, or even 10 lifetimes, could not repay. Who is that servant? That is the image of us before the universe. That debt is not money. It is the debt of life. We owe Mother Earth our breath, owe the sun its light, owe our parents our form, and we also owe God countless mistakes, times of prodigality that we were forgiven for in the previous section. When that servant fell to his knees and begged, "Be patient with me, and I will pay back everything," what did the king do? The servant's master took pity on him, canceled the debt, and let him go. Feel the weight of 10,000 talents being lifted from your shoulders. Canceled the debt. Not postponed, but canceled. Gone. As if it never existed. Tonight, you are debt-free. You do not owe life another explanation. Your existence has been fully guaranteed by grace. But the tragedy of sleep begins here. That servant, having just been forgiven a massive debt, went out and met a colleague. But when that servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins, 100 denarii, a very small number compared to 10,000 talents. This is the image of the mistakes others have caused you. Yes, they were wrong. Yes, they made you sad. Yes, that husband or wife or colleague owed you kindness. But compared to the immense grace of life you are enjoying, that debt is only 100 denarii. But what do we usually do? He grabbed him and began to choke him. "Pay back what you owe me." "Nay," he demanded. That act of choking is resentment. When you lie in bed and grind your teeth thinking about those who harmed you, you are performing the act of choking in your mind. But alas, the one being suffocated is not the other person. They are sleeping soundly in their homes. The one being suffocated is you. Resentment is the poison we drink, expecting the other person to die. Resentment strangles the trachea of the soul, preventing the breath of peace from entering. You cannot sleep when your hand is gripping the neck of a ghost from memory. Tonight, I invite you to make a bold exchange. Look at the debt the other person owes you. Look at that hurt. Do not deny it. It is real. But place it on the scale, next to the massive debt God has just canceled for you, the debt of being alive, of being loved, of being protected tonight. Do you see the scale tipping heavily to one side? The love you receive is 1,000 times greater than the pain you suffer. So, practice release. Forgiveness does not mean their actions were right. Forgiveness does not mean you must go back to being friends with them. Forgiveness means you declare, "I no longer act as the debt collector. I am closing this book. I set you free. And more importantly, I set myself free." Khalil Gibran. With his wisdom, once compared, the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. You cannot grow lush, cannot sleep well, if you keep standing in the shadow of hatred. Step out of that shadow. Visualize yourself holding that person's debt paper. Inhale. Feel the immense love of the universe flowing into your heart. Exhale. Tear up that debt paper in your mind. See it turning into white scraps. The night wind blows them away, far away, forever. Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. This nightly prayer is not a condition. It is a physical law of the soul. Only when you let go of the other's neck are your hands free to embrace sleep. Only when you clear out the debts in your heart is the room of the heart spacious enough to contain peace. Now, all debts have been paid. No one owes you, and you owe no one. The world has returned to a state of absolute balance. 0 point. Your mind is now clear as a calm lake after the rain. No more ripples of resentment, only the moonlight of compassion shining down. You have learned to love yourself. The Samaritan. You have learned to return the prodigal son. You have learned your value, the lost coin, and now you have learned freedom, canceling the debt. Act 2 closes here. The door of emotions has been gently shut. Your heart has been fully healed. But for this sleep to be lasting and steady, so that tomorrow you wake up not only healthy, but also wiser, we need to step into a new land, the land of awakening, where we learn to light the lamp of wisdom so that darkness can never invade again. Greetings, travelers seeking a peaceful harbor. We have traversed the intense emotional spectrum of forgiveness together. Your heart feels much lighter now, doesn't it? But I know, even when emotions have settled, the human mind remains a ceaselessly calculating machine. When you lie down in bed, does the clicking of an abacus still echo in your head? Have I earned enough this month? Will my savings be enough for the future? I need to buy this, fix that. Numbers dance. Plans for building and expansion pile up. We often think that the more we possess, the more securely we sleep. But paradoxically, the more we hold, the fitful our sleep becomes. Tonight, to soothe that calculating mind, let me tell you a story about wealth and its price. The story of the rich fool. Do not be quick to take offense at the word fool. In the light of awakening, sometimes what the world calls wisdom is actually folly before eternity. Jesus told this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. Let's start here. This man did nothing wrong. He was hardworking. He was successful. The ground yielded an abundant harvest is a dream for all of us. But the problem began to arise from that very success. Abundance brought a new anxiety, the anxiety of storage. He began a monologue, an internal dialogue. I believe you are very familiar with every night he thought to himself, "What shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. What shall I do?" Is this question echoing in your head? Not because you lack, but perhaps because you are taking on too much. You have too many ideas, too many projects, too many responsibilities. Your mind is like a warehouse filled to the brim, with no space left for stillness to seep in. The fullness of material things and fame is sometimes the cause of the crampedness of the soul. You cannot sleep because your mind has no room to spread the mat of rest. And what was the rich man's solution? Then he said, "This is what I will do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, and there I will store my surplus grain. Build bigger ones. This is the sweetest trap of our age. We always tell ourselves, just achieve this goal and I will rest. Just buy a bigger house and I will sleep well. But when this barn is full, anxiety prompts at you to tear it down and build a bigger one. You are postponing your peace for an indefinite future. You are destroying the house of the present, which is your health, your sleep tonight, to build a warehouse for tomorrow. The rich man lulled himself with a false lullaby, and I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy. Eat, drink, and be merry. Many years. He believed security lay in accumulating time. He believed he controlled tomorrow. But oh, sleepless friend, the harsh but liberating truth is, we do not own time. We only own this moment. The voice of judgment rang out, not from an angry judge, but from the law of life. You fool, this very night, your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? This very night. This phrase is chilling, but also full of awakening. Every sleep, in a way, is a small rehearsal for departure. When you sleep, you cannot take your bank account with you. When you sleep, the title of director or employee has no meaning. When you sleep, the bed of the rich and the poor are equally wide. Your life will be demanded from you. Tonight, the universe is not demanding your money. The universe is demanding the presence of your soul. The soul needs to return to its source to recharge. But you imprison the soul in the barns of worry. You force the soul to guard assets instead of soaring in dreams. So what is the healing lesson here? It is not that you should throw away all assets. God does not forbid wealth. He only warns against attachment. Tonight, practice the ritual of destroying the barns in your mind, but in a different way. Instead of tearing down small barns to build big ones, imagine you are throwing open all the warehouse doors. Say to the worries, the plans, the numbers, I do not own you. I am just a manager. Tonight, I hand the keys back to the universe. A poet of the soul who once spoke of children not belonging to us also reminded us, security lies not in what you have in your hand, but in how gently you can open your hand. Open your hand. Look, clenched hands are full of tension. Open hands are soft and ready to receive. Stop trying to enrich the ego at this moment. This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God. Rich toward God. In the language of sleep, this means rich in peace. Tonight, you are the richest person in the world, not because you have much money, but because you have the ability to set everything aside to sleep well. You are rich because you possess this breath. You are rich because you know that tomorrow, the sun will rise again without you having to pay a fee. Lie still and enjoy this sacred poverty, owning nothing, controlling nothing, simply existing. And when you no longer bother building barns in your head, your soul will find a vast space to rest. But, my friend, wisdom does not stop at knowing how to let go of possessions. Wisdom also lies in preparation. Letting go does not mean lazy resignation. to sleep well tonight and wake up radiant tomorrow. The soul needs a special kind of oil to light the inner lamp. Even when darkness covers the deepest depths, there are those who fell asleep and let their lamps go out. But there are wise ones who know how to keep the fire. Let us step into the next story together to find that precious oil. Dear friend, after we have thrown open the barn doors of the rich fool, after we have returned the material burdens to the world, your soul is now an open, airy space. But that space should not be left dark. It needs to be lit. Tonight, as you lie here, waiting for sleep to come, as one waits for a precious friend, listen to the story of preparation. Jesus tells of 10 young women holding lamps going out to meet the bridegroom. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. In this story, the bridegroom is peaceful sleep, the divine presence you are longing for, and the lamp is your mind. All 10 women had lamps. All 10 wanted to meet the bridegroom. Just as everyone in this world has a mind and wants to sleep well. But the difference lies in something invisible from the outside oil. The foolish ones took their lamps, but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. What is oil in the language of tonight's stillness? Oil is not something you can buy at a convenience store or pharmacy. Oil is the crystallization of inner experiences. It is the patience you have saved through difficult days. It is the gratitude you nurture from small things. It is the quiet faith that everything will be all right. The foolish ones are those who only care for the outer lampshell comfort, soft bed, warm mattress, but let the oil jar inside run dry. They wait for sleep to come from the outside. Give me a pill. Give me a sound. But the wise ones understand that the light of peace must be lit from within. And what happens when the night deepens? The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. Notice this deeply human detail. Everyone slept, wise or foolish. All were tired and fell asleep. God does not blame them for sleeping. Sleep is a natural law. But when the call rang out at midnight, only the lamps with oil continued to burn bright. The lesson here is gentle. You cannot borrow someone else's peace at the last minute. No, they replied. There may not be enough for both us and you. Do not be sad about this refusal. This is a reminder of responsibility for your own soul. No one can sleep for you, no one can be at peace for you. Tonight, ask yourself, is there oil in my jar? If you feel depleted, do not panic and run to search outside. Start saving every drop of oil right now. A deep breath is a drop of oil. A thought of forgiveness is a drop of oil. A gentle smile at the darkness is a drop of oil. Let the lamp of your consciousness burn bright with the fuel of your own inner tranquility. But wisdom is not just about sitting still and keeping the lamp burning. Wisdom is also how you perceive the giver of sleep. Is it fear? Or is it trust? We move to the story of the talents. A master goes away and entrusts his property to his servants. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2, to another 1. Most of us know about those who made 5 more, 2 more. They are the ones who lived fully, dared to venture. But tonight, I want you to sit down beside the third servant, the one with only 1 bag of gold, the one who went and buried it in the ground. Why did he do that? Why did he not dare to live, not dare to invest, not dare to trust? Listen to his haunting confession, the confession of countless people suffering from anxiety. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. I was afraid." This is the root of insomnia. He was afraid the master was hard. He was afraid this life was harsh. He was afraid that if he slipped up, he would be punished. Because of that fear, he froze his life, hid. Nor Aang, he did not dare to relax his bag of gold to rest. Fearing that something bad would happen when he woke up, he held on to everything tightly in a state of defensive tension. But dear friend, a sage once said, "Life is not hard on those who trust its rhythm." The Master Universe God in the story is actually not hard at all. He gave them property according to his ability. He trusted them absolutely. It was the servant's fearful gaze that turned a grace, the talent, into a burden. Tonight, are you burying your talent under the cold soil of anxiety? That talent is your health. It is your ability to recover. Do not bury it. Do not lock it up. Bring it out into the light of trust. Change the script in your head. Instead of saying, "I am afraid life will punish me if I oversleep," say, "I trust the Creator gave me this ability to rest so I can profit." The profit here is a refreshed spirit tomorrow. True wisdom is daring to trust that the Master is benevolent, daring to trust that you are allowed to take the risk to let go. Your sinking into sleep is not laziness or hiding your talent. On the contrary, it is the wisest investment. You are depositing this body into the bank of restoration so that tomorrow it yields the fruit of joy and creativity. Dig that talent up from fear. Wipe off the dirt of doubt. Hold it in your hand. It is your life right now, and whisper, "I'm not afraid anymore. I invest this moment into sleep." Well done, good and faithful servant. That praise is not for the one who works to exhaustion. That praise is for the one who knows how to cherish the gift given. Your lamp has oil. Your talent has been deposited in the right place. The mind's preparation is complete. You are ready for the journey into the night, not as a fugitive, but as a wise master. But life is complex. Sometimes, to keep peace in this volatile world, we need not only the innocence of a dove, but also the shrewdness of a snake. There is a strange story, the most controversial one, yet containing the most profound lesson on how to use worldly means to serve eternal purposes. Let us turn the next page together to learn how to become a smart manager of our own lives. Dear friend, there is a paradox that insomniacs often face. We are often very responsible people. We want everything to be clear, black and white. We want today to be 100% perfect, and when it doesn't reach that number, we lie there tormenting ourselves. But life is not a straight line. It is curves, turns, and sometimes gray areas. To sleep well in this chaotic world, sometimes you need more than innocence. You need the wisdom of a manager. Jesus tells a story that confuses many, but if viewed through the eyes of healing, it is a masterpiece on the art of living. The story of a manager accused of wasting his master's possessions. There was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. So he called him in and asked him, "What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, because you cannot be manager any longer." Stop at the word manager. This is the first key to liberating yourself from pressure. You are not the owner of this life. You do not own your children. Do not own your job. Do not even own this body forever. You are only a manager. Anxiety often comes from mistakenly thinking we are the owner. We think we must bear ultimate responsibility for every result. No, the owner is the creator. When you realize you are just a manager, the burden on your shoulders is halved. But a crisis happens. You cannot be manager any longer. This is the image of times when life backs us into a corner. When work fails, when health declines, when we feel we are about to lose everything. What did the manager in the story do? Did he lie there crying? Did he torment himself over the past? No. He asked himself, "What shall I do now?" He realized to dig, I am not able. To beg, I am ashamed. And then, an idea flashed, a bold idea. He decided to use the last bit of power remaining to make friends. He called each of his master's debtors. "How much do you owe my master?" The man replied, 100 jugs of olive oil. The manager told him, "Take your bill. Sit down quickly and make it 50. Another owed 100 measures of wheat. He said, "Write 80. This action, on the surface, is distance to the master. But look deep into the spiritual implication besides. What is the manager doing? He is reducing the burden. He knows he cannot collect the full 100%. If he tries to collect it all, the debtor will hate him, and he will leave empty-handed. Instead, he accepts the number 50, the number 80. He writes off debt for others in exchange for safety for his future. This is a priceless lesson for your sleep tonight. Are you demanding that life and yourself pay the full 100 jugs of oil of perfection? Are you lying awake because a project didn't reach a score of 10? Are you annoyed because your husband, wife, colleague didn't behave 100% as you wished? The wisdom of the manager says, pick up the pen and rewrite the number. Reduce the debt for yourself. All right. Today I only did 50%. That is enough. I accept the number 50 in exchange for sleep. That person didn't behave well, but never mind. I lower my expectation to 80. I accept that flaw in exchange for peace. Wisdom lies in knowing how to compromise with imperfection. Do not try to be a righteous debt-collecting God at midnight. Be a shrewd manager. Write it off. Reduce it. When you lighten the burden for others and for yourself, you are creating friends who will welcome you into eternal dwellings. Those friends are serenity, And the most amazing thing is the master's reaction. The master commended the dishonest manager because he had acted shrewdly. Why did the master commend him? Because he understood the truth. Relationships are more important than wealth. The future is more important than the past. He used worldly wealth to buy friends, Jesus concluded. For the people of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own kind than are the people of the light. Sometimes, we the seekers of light are too naive and rigid. We let anxiety about morality, about perfection, bind us. Tonight, learn the shrewdness of the children of this world. Use the very troubles of the world mammon to forge your character. Do not let money or pressure master you. Use them as tools. If letting go of a little profit helps you sleep well, let it go. That is wisdom. If accepting a small failure helps you keep your health, accept it. That is a super profitable investment. And the final warning: strong as a bell, you cannot serve both God and money. In the context of tonight, you cannot serve both sleep and worry. You must choose one master. If you choose worry as your master, it will force you to stay awake to calculate the books. If you choose sleep, God's peace, as your master, He will tell you to tear up the books and lie down. A poet of understanding once wrote, "You are a traveler who comes and goes. Why count every grain of sand under your feet when the whole ocean is calling? Stop counting. Stop collecting debts. Wisely choose the ocean. Inhale, I am a shrewd manager. Exhale, halt, I lighten every burden of today. Inhale, I am not a slave to perfection. Exhale, oh, I choose peace as my master." And now, when you know how to let go of wealth, the rich fool, know how to prepare inner oil, the 10 virgins, and know how to be flexible with imperfection, the shrewd manager, your mind has truly matured. You are no longer a child afraid of the dark, nor a slave to materialism. You're standing in the position of a free person. But a free person also needs a final compass, a confirmation of ultimate authority, to know that the ship of life is sailing in the right direction, whether the sea is rough or calm. Let us step into the final act. Act 4, where power and judgment do not bring fear, but bring absolute arrangement. Dear friend, when night falls, there is a psychological phenomenon that I believe you have experienced. It is the feeling of unsteadiness. During the day, when there is work, friends, and sunlight, you feel fine. But when you lay your back on the bed, when darkness covers everything, you suddenly feel everything collapsing. Worries rush in like a flood. The beliefs of the morning suddenly vanish like dust. You feel yourself drifting, with nothing to hold on to. Why is that? Why is our sleep so fragile? To answer this question, listen to the story of 2 architects of life, a story about the difference between the seen and the unseen, the story of the wise and foolish builders. Jesus paints a vivid picture. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And conversely, but everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. Action. Look at those two houses. In beautiful sunny days when life is favorable, they look exactly the same. Both have walls, roofs, and beautiful windows. The one building on sand can also sleep well when the sky is calm. But the mettle of the house and the mettle of sleep is only tested when the storm comes. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Tonight, what is your rain? Is it news of an economic recession? Is it worry about your parents' health? Is it the insecurity of a fracturing relationship? Those are the winds that are beating against your mind. If you build your house of peace on sand is external things. It is the opinions of others. It is the number in your bank account. It is the praise and criticism of society. Sand always shifts. Sand never stands still. When you place your trust in those things, I only sleep well when everyone loves me. I am only secure when my account has 10 billion. Then when the wind blows, the sand flies away, and the house of your mind will collapse, and it fell with a great crash. That feeling of a great crash is the panic attack in the middle of the night. It is the ceaseless tossing and turning. But tonight, we are here to move the house. We will not reinforce the walls. We will redo the foundation. We will build on rock. What is rock? An Eastern sage once said, trees reach up to the high sky, thanks to roots clinging deep into the dark earth. Rock is the eternal values that never change, regardless of how the world turns. Rock is the truth that you are unconditionally loved. Act 2. Rock is the truth that everything will pass. Only the soul remains. Rock is the inner stillness that God placed within you from birth. When you build your sleep on rock, you say, no matter how work goes tomorrow, my value remains unchanged. No matter what people say, I am still a child of the Most High. No matter how big the storm is, it only wets the windows. It cannot shake my foundation. Imagine you are lying on a giant, warm and sturdy rock. Pour the entire weight of your body, of your worries, down onto that rock. The rock does not know fatigue. The rock does not know complaint. The rock is there to support you, and it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. Did not fall. That is the promise for tonight's sleep. You will not collapse. Those noisy thoughts are just the sound of rain on the roof. They are noisy, but they are not dangerous. You are inside the house. You are on the rock. You are safe. Observe your breath. Inhale. I feel the stability of the rock. Exhale. I watch the grains of anxious sand drift away with the water current. Do not try to stop the rain. Let the rain fall. Rain is necessary to wash away the dust for the house. You just need to know where your feet are standing. Khalil Gibran once wrote about the house as the second body of man. He said, "Let not your house be an anchor but a mast." But to sail out to sea, the ship must be steady against the waves. That steadiness comes from within. Tonight, you do not need to be a skilled builder. You only need to be someone who knows how to choose a spot. Choose to lie down on faith. Choose to lie down on acceptance. Choose to lie down on the eternal promise. I will never leave you, nor forsake you. That is the rock of all ages. When you have found the solid foundation, when the house of the mind no longer shakes before the storm, you will realize something interesting, that in this sturdy house, there is a narrow gate, a gate leading to true freedom, but few dare to step through. The final wisdom of Act 3 lies in knowing how to choose the right gate to enter the dream. Let us come to the final piece of wisdom before surrendering all authority to the Most High. Dear friend, we have finished building a solid foundation on the rock, but a house, no matter how sturdy, needs an entrance. And this is the moment your wisdom is tested one last time before sinking into sleep. Observe your mind right now. Is it like a vast square where thousands of thoughts are parading? Worries about work, trivial memories, world news, the noise of social media, all are crowding to pass through a wide open gate. That is the wide gate. Jesus, the master of stillness, gave advice that goes against the habit of the crowd. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. Destruction here tonight is not hell. It is the scattering of the mind. It is chronic insomnia. When you allow every thought to enter your mind, you are walking through the wide gate. You are stepping onto the path of chaos. There, you carry the whole world to bed, and naturally, this little bed cannot contain the whole world. But look to the side. There is another gate. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. The narrow gate. Why is it narrow? It is not narrow to make it difficult for you. It is narrow to purify you. Imagine the door entering the kingdom of sleep life is only wide enough for you alone to pass through. It does not have room for your suitcase of anxiety. It does not have room for the fame you are wearing on your shoulders. It does not have room for the people you are holding grudges against. It fits only your naked, simple, and pure soul. That is why only a few find it, because we are afraid to leave our luggage behind. We fear solitude. We think that if we leave worries behind, we will lose control. But the truth is, only when you dare to leave everything outside that narrow gate will you find life, the life of a restorative sleep. Tonight, practice the exercise, walking through the narrow gate. Visualize before your eyes a narrow crack, emitting a gentle batit, warm light. You are standing before it. On your shoulders are heavy bags of luggage, the bag of unfinished business. The bag of words others said. The bag of tomorrow's plans. You try to squeeze through the door with all those things. You get stuck. You feel suffocated. That is the feeling of tossing and turning. Now, try doing it differently. Wisdom tells you, put it down. Gently place the bag of unfinished business down beside the door. Tell it, tomorrow I will come back to get you. But for now, you stay here. Take the bag of future plans off your shoulder. You are too bulky for my dream. One by one, until you feel light. Nothing left in your hands, nothing left on your shoulders. Only breath remains. Only the heartbeat remains. And now, step through. Do you see it fits perfectly? The feeling of squeezing through that narrow door is the feeling of relaxation. Once you have passed through, the door closes behind you. All the noise of the world is blocked outside. Inside here, there is only absolute stillness. A poet once spoke of solitude as a gift, saying, when you go into your own forest, go alone. For if you take others, it is just a walk in the market. Sleep is that sacred forest. You must go alone. This path is called the narrow road. It is narrow because it requires focus on the present mindfulness. You cannot run around wildly. You can only place one foot at a time. Inhale and on for F or ab or. Exhale Menorius. That is the solitary path leading to peace. Do not fear this narrowness. This narrowness protects you. In the narrow space of focus, there is no room for the ghosts of the past to squeeze in. In the narrow space of breath, there is no room for the fear of the future to creep in. There is only life flowing. Lead to life. Good sleep is the source of life. It regenerates cells. It rearranges memories. It heals wounds. But you only receive that gift when you are willing to walk through the narrow gate of letting go. Now, you are in the house of stillness. You have left the noisy world behind the door. You are safe on the solid rock foundation. Your lamp is full of oil. Your heart is no longer entangled in debt. You have done everything a human can do. You have finished preparing. But in this great room, something is still missing. Missing a master. Who will be the guard for your sleep when your consciousness fades? Who will be the king ruling the kingdom of the subconscious when you are no longer in control? We need a power great enough to command the storm to be silent, command the darkness to recede. That king is coming, not in the noise of battle trumpets, but on the back of a humble donkey, yet bearing within him the authority of the entire universe. Open wide the gates of the soul, not the door of anxiety, but the gate of reverence to welcome him into the final act of tonight's journey. Dear friend, we have walked a long path through fields, deserted roads, and narrow gates. Now, lift your eyes. Before you is the city of the mind, Jerusalem. In the ancient language, it means city of peace. But look, has the city of your mind truly been peaceful these past days? Or is it noisy like a broken market? The cries of anxiety, the haggling of calculation, the arguments of inner conflicts, all create a chaos that exhausts you. Tonight, that chaos will end, because the true king of this city is returning. He does not come to punish. He comes to restore order. He comes to reclaim sleep for you. Listen to the hoofbeats. No, not war horses. The king of sleep does not ride a war horse. War horses bring tension and violence. He rides on the back of a young donkey. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Gentleness is the greatest power. Look at how he enters your mind right now. Slowly, calmly, he does not kick down the door. He gently glides over your thoughts. Wherever he goes, the the noisy crowd of chaotic thoughts suddenly parts to the sides. They bow before an absolute serenity. Imagine you are spreading the cloaks of anxiety down on the road for him to pass. Spread the palm branches of hope on the ground, and let the shout echo in the depths of your soul. Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna means, please save us. Tonight, that is your prayer. Please save me from this noise. Please save me from this insomnia. And that king has heard. He is advancing straight into the center of the city, into the most sacred place, the temple. What is the temple? Your body, Yimpabatis. Your mind is the temple, a place created to contain stillness and the presence of the Spirit. But look at what you have done with this temple. You have allowed the merchants to enter. Who are those merchants? They are the thoughts, must earn more money, must achieve that position, must get back at this person. They spread their tables and chairs, cluttering your head. They trade, they scream, they defile the purity of sleep. You lie down in bed, but your mind is like a stock exchange, like a bustling market. And this is when power is demonstrated. Jesus enters the temple. His eyes are blazing, not with the fire of hatred, but with the fire of protections. He refuses to let you be tortured anymore. Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. Visualize the scene of liberation. He is overturning the table of work pressure. Crash. The coins of anxiety scatter and vanish. He is driving out the sellers of fear. Get out of here immediately. He's kicking over the benches of insecurity. Do not fear this strength. He is doing it for you. You have been too weak to drive them away yourself. You have compromised with them for too long. Tonight, let him be the cleaner. Feel the vibration in your mind. That is the vibration of burdens being thrown out of your head. And after driving out all the disturbers, he stands in the vast, quiet space of the temple and declares an eternal decree. It is written, "My house will be called a house of prayer," but you are making it a den of robbers. House of prayer, your mind, your sleep, is designed to be a sacred place, a place of rest, not a den of robbers where worries steal your health and joy. That declaration is a boundary marker. From this moment on, tonight, no negative thought is allowed to invade this territory anymore. The king has planted the flag of sovereignty. This room has been cleansed. This bed has been sanctified. Now, look. The temple floor is gleaming clean. The noises have died down outside. The merchants have fled in fear before the king's authority. Only silence remains. A vast, pure silence. And in that silence, those who truly need healing dare to tiptoe in. The blind and the lame came to him at the temple, and he healed them. When your mind is clean of calculations, healing begins. The blind are your weary eyes, now touched by him to see beautiful dreams. The lame are your exhausted legs, now massaged by him to relax completely. Do you see his power and judgment ultimately all point to love? He drives anxiety away, only to make room for restoration to stay. Inhale. Feel the airy space of the soul's temple. Exhale. Thank the King for cleaning up for me. Inhale. My house is a house of prayer. Exhale. There are no robbers here anymore. When order has been established, when the King is seated on the throne of consciousness, he begins to look around. He observes the orchard of your life. What does he seek after granting you this absolute peace? He seeks fruit. Authenticity is the prerequisite for maintaining good sleep. A fake soul, having only leaves but no fruit, will not be able to stand before his piercing gaze. Let us step to a stern but necessary lesson on honesty, the antidote to the hypocrisy that is gnawing at your conscience. Dear friend, the King of Peace has established his throne in your mind, but his gaze does not stop at the four walls of the temple. He steps out, walking into the garden of your life, and there, he stops before a tree. It is the story of the fig tree, a short, decisive story, yet it contains the secret of liberation for souls exhausted from bracing themselves. Jesus recounts that early in the morning, when returning to the city, he felt hungry. Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. The hunger of the Creator. What is he hungry for? He is not hungry for earthly food. He is hungry for truth. He longs to find a little real nourishment from the creatures he loves. And he saw a fig tree by the road. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Nothing on it except leaves. Stop and reflect this image into the mirror of your soul tonight. What are leaves? Leaves are the lush exterior. It is the verdure you perform for the world to see. How many layers of leaves have you put on today? The leaf of I'm fine. The leaf of a forced smile when your heart is breaking. The leaf of busyness to cover loneliness. The leaf of glamorous photos on social media. You care for those leaves very meticulously. You fear they will be eaten by worms. Fear they will wither. You spend the whole day polishing your mask. You think that if you have many leaves, you will be safe. You will be admired. But oh, weary friend, how much energy it costs to nourish those fake leaves you cannot sleep. Is it because you fear that when you close your eyes, the mask will fall off? Do you fear facing the emptiness inside where there is no fruit? The King approaches. He parts the leaves looking for fruit. He does not care about your status. He does not care how much money you earn. He only seeks the fruit of love, of peace, of compassion. And when he finds nothing but hollow ostentation, he pronounced a judgment. Do not tremble. This judgment, if understood correctly, is the greatest word of liberation for your sleep. Then he said to the tree, "May you never bear fruit again." Immediately, the tree withered. May you never bear fruit again. At first glance, this is a curse, but look deeper with the eyes of therapy. God is speaking to your false self. He is commanding the hypocrisy to end. Stop trying to act. Stop trying to produce illusory things. Stop trying to please the world with a shell. The withered state of the fig tree is the death of the false self. Tonight, allow your leaves to fall. Allow the labels of successful person, strong person, perfect person to wither away. Do not regret them. They are just burdens. Imagine you are shedding a heavy actor's costume after a long play. You remove your makeup. You look in the mirror. Perhaps you see yourself naked. Perhaps you see wrinkles, scars, but that is you. That is the truth. And the truth is light. A poet of the soul once wrote, "Truth needs no costume. Only lies need frilly dresses." When you live authentically, you do not need to remember the script. You do not need to fear being exposed, and therefore, you can sleep well. Say to the King standing there, "Lord, I confess, today I was all leaves. I was hollow inside. I was exhausted from acting." That confession is the first fruit, the fruit of humility. He will not punish honesty. He only punishes deceit. When you accept letting deceit wither, that is when true sap begins to return to nourish the roots. Tonight, sleep as a flesh and blood human, weak and me but sincere. Do not sleep as a painted statue, Let the leaves fall to the night floor. The wind will carry them away. The withering of the fake fig tree is the revival of the soul's soil. Inhale. I let go of the heavy mask. Exhale. I get to be myself, naked and peaceful. Inhale. I do not need to impress anyone in my dreams. Exhale. The truth sets me free. When the fake leaves have fallen, the space becomes strangely airy. Nothing blocks the view anymore. Now, you stand there, authentic and simple before your King. And when there are no shells left, we can face the final test, a test not based on talent, not based on fame, but based on the sole standard of love. A final discernment is about to take place, a separation between the sheep and the goats, between love and indifference. This is the final key to opening the gate of heaven. Right in your sleep, dear friend, when the fake leaves have fallen, when your soul stands naked and authentic before the throne of consciousness, we face the final moment, a moment that many fearfully call judgment. But tonight, in this sanctuary of sleep, let me redefine judgment. It is not a criminal trial. It is a sifting of love. Jesus paints a picture of the last day, when the glorious King separates the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Tonight, that King is sitting in the midst of your mind. He is performing the task of sorting your thoughts, the stubborn thoughts, butting their heads against the wall, the worries that refuse to let go. Those are the goats. He gently herds them to one side, locking them in the darkness of oblivion. They do not belong to your sleep. As for the gentle thoughts, the desires to be loved, the weaknesses needing protection, those are the sheep. He invites them near the throne of rest. Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. And what is the standard for him to bless? Is it because you worked 16 hours today? Is it because you are wealthy, intelligent? No. The only standard is compassion for the least of these. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. And when the righteous ask in bewilderment, Lord, when did we do that for you? The answer rings out like a love song of the universe. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. The least of these. Tonight, who is the lowliest person? It is yourself. It is this body falling apart with fatigue. It is these stinging eyes. It is this heart beating faintly from exhaustion. When you decided to turn off the phone to let your eyes rest, you gave God a drink. When you pulled the blanket to cover your cold shoulders, you clothed God. When you forgave yourself, you visited God in the prison of torment. Every act of kindness you show yourself tonight is recorded by the King as a sacred act of worship. You are not selfish for going to sleep. You are caring for his temple. Therefore be at peace. You have passed the test of love. The gate of heaven of sleep has swung open. The gentle sheep of your mind have been allowed to enter the green pastures. Our journey is complete. We have sown the seed of faith. We have been embraced by the Father. We have lit the oil lamp of wisdom. And now, we have been recognized by the King as people of life. Now is the time for complete letting go. Visualize the King of Peace standing guard before the door of your soul. His authority encompasses this space. All darkness, all fear, all noise must bow and recede before his presence. You do not need to stand guard anymore. The great watchman of Israel never slumbers, so that you may sleep. He who watches over you will not slumber. Hand the keys of consciousness back to him. Let your body sink. Sink into arms invisible but solid as rock. Everything has been arranged. All debts have been canceled. All worries have been sent back to tomorrow. Only this breath remains. Only this peace remains, like a child lying fully in a cradle, surrounded by the Father's love. Let beautiful dreams come to visit you. There is nothing to worry about. There is nothing to fear. You are safe. You are loved. You are forgiven. Sleep, O beloved soul. Sleep in amazing grace. Peace be with you, and good night.